Welcome, Professor Sae Hoon Kim, to the podcast The Hydrogen Leader. I'm very delighted to have you.
It is also my pleasure.
As you know, with this format, we try to share insights from important leaders, also talk about markets and future developments and their growth hacks. And you are a very prominent figure in the South Korean hydrogen fuel cell ecosystem and worked a long time for Hyundai. And we will unpack that all in the course of the interview. But before we do that, dear Sehun, I would like to ask you a very basic question. Who is Seon Kim?
Uh, actually, I didn't. When I entered Hyundai Motor Company, I didn't know about fuel cell. So actually, I had my master course in Seoul National University, and then I did my doctoral work at RWTH Aachen, so Aachen University in Germany. And
Right.
then my major was thermodynamics, and I never saw fuel cell before. But my major was mechanical engineering, but the
Mhm.
study I did was about chemical engineering. And in Korea, it is divided. Mechanical division and chemical engineering division is divided. But in EWTH, it was in one faculty, machine and bow. Yeah. So
Yeah.
after my doctorate degree, I have nowhere to go in Korea because I was mechanical engineering but did chemical engineering. So I was very curious, what can I do for living? So I found a lot of places and found out that Hyundai is developing fuel cell, and fuel cell is a little bit related to chemical engineering. And in my doctorate degree, I handled a sulfuric acid. And I thought, okay, the ionomers in fuel cell membrane is a little bit sulfuric acid content. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I decided to, challenge for this fuel cell team in Hyundai Motor Company. And after it was decided, I visited Professor Pischinger, who was just next door of my office in Germany. And I asked him, "You were developing fuel cell. Just let me have a look at fuel cell." Yeah, and he introduced me FEV. Yeah, the famous institute there, and I had a chance to see fuel cell at the first time in Germany in 2003. Then I came to Hyundai and started my career. So it was a lot of chaos at that time because in Hyundai there was not many infrastructure at that time, and no one knew how much hydrogen was in the hydrogen tank. At that time, we didn't even use the ideal gas equation. Yeah, so we weighted all the hydrogen tanks. So it was a difficult step, but I'll tell you later. But Hyundai was the first company to mass produce the fuel cell vehicle, but it was not because Hyundai had a good technology or was ready for mass production. It was just a decision to live further. Yeah, it was survival game at that time. Yeah,
Right.
and after that, yeah, now I am. I have mass produced. The first vehicle was Tucson iX35, which we made about only 1,000 units in 5 years.
Yeah.
And I was very worried about this vehicle because technically it was not perfect. Yeah. So I expected a lot of recalls and everything, but nothing happened actually. Because I think all the fuel cell related companies benchmarked and tear down this car. So it is not much left in the world right now.
So they bought it to tear it down to understand what you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was confident that I could make it cheaper in the next generation. So if the
Yeah.
Tucson iX35 has some problem, I'll give a new car, new version, because it would be cheaper than exchanging fuel cell stack of the
Yeah.
whole version. So it worked because the next generation fuel cell car, which is Nexo, is only the stack cost of the first generation. Yeah,
Right.
so it worked. And now I'm retired from Hyundai Motor Company, and so I worked in the mobility, automotive sector for 20 years. Now I'm challenging again for maritime industry because I think in maritime industry we have a very good future for hydrogen and fuel cell.
Mhm. So to summarize, basically, you get to know about fuel cell in Germany, then started with Hyundai, and I think you became the leader of the full fuel cell division within Hyundai. Yeah, so this was also quite a journey which we can talk about. And now you have transitioned to the president role of Vinssen, which is a company that is offering, as I understand, both fuel cell and battery electric applications for in the maritime sector. And we will unpack that later. Um, what I find so impressive is about many professionals in the hydrogen economy that they are not only passionate for 1 or 5 years, they are passionate for their entire career. And you are building your entire career basically on this fuel cell technology after you have learned about it in Germany. Why are you still so passionate about this fuel cell technology? What drives you in that sense, Seon?
Well, so let me tell you about my experience in Hyundai. In 2006, it was a very early stage before we have mass produced. We had a meeting with, I had a chance to meet with uh, Chairman Mungu Chao, who is
Oh,
a
wow.
previous chairman and father of the current chairman. Yeah. And we had a meeting, and our chairman said, we need to make a very cheap cars and use very cheap energy. And he told me at the time, you know, now the rich countries are driving cars, but in the future, poor countries also have to drive cars. And that should be hydrogen and fuel cell. So actually, at that time, the fuel cell was really, really expensive.
Yes.
But our chairman thought it could be a very cheap one.
Okay.
Yeah. So at that time, I thought, does our chairman know how much fuel cell costs? Yeah. But now it became really reality because in Korea, when we talk about the renewable electricity, we always said it is not economically viable because it's too expensive.
Yes.
Electricity from wind or solar. But today, it is the cheapest source of making electricity in many countries. And it is
Yes.
really became the reality. Who
Yes.
knows? Maybe fuel cell will be the most cheapest car in the future.
So
But
bottom line,
we had that
the
kind of.
yeah, and you are basically passionate to continue this legacy, to bring this vision to life, that to show with your engagement that fuel cell can finally bring cheap cars, for
Yeah,
example. That was
right.
the enduring passion that you had to bring this vision of your chairman to life, more or less.
And actually, my uncle is a very famous professor in Seoul National University,
Okay.
and he is the some kind of guru in the engine technology. And he
Yeah.
always, when I meet him, he always said, "Stop developing fuel cell. That is a toy. Yeah, it will never be mass produced." So I have a lot of guys in Hyundai, engine development. So I will change your position to engine division. Yeah, but I said, okay, uncle, you have a good technology in engine, but I want to make something new, and I will, show you that it could be realized. Yeah. And in 2008, there was a very difficult situation. So the minister of DOE was Mr. Steve Chu, Professor Steve Chu. Yeah. So
Mhm.
what he said is, uh, fuel cell will never be mass produced because of that statement. It was not
Mhm.
supported from the government, and
Right.
that was not only in USA. It was also Korea. Korean government also stopped developing, supporting fuel cell because USA, Nobel Prize winner Steve Chu, he said it will be never, possible to mass produce fuel cell in
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
But, that stopped all the support. And even in China, if you ask Chinese engineers, they say also the same thing. Because of that, announcement from Steve Chu, Chinese government also stopped supporting. So it was a
All right.
dead, yeah. And it started again in 2012, actually. So the supporting of the fuel cell from the government.
What I learned from my automotive insights, as you know, I have worked for Mercedes many times. I think the biggest threat for engineers is the controlling department, because they are looking for, let's say, a viable business case. And I always had the view that how can you develop a breakthrough technology under a controlling mandate where you have to argue every euro, basically. And what I sense when I listen to you now, that the development direction in your company, Hyundai, is much more driven by vision than by a controlling effort. Would you buy into that? Is that part of the business culture in Korea?
Yeah, we had to be always follower, yeah, in every
Yeah,
technology. But I think our chairman at that time, Mong Chung, had a vision. He supported a lot, yeah.
yeah,
Even we didn't make money, but it was just a future.
yeah.
So, but still, even he was so confident about the future of fuel cell and hydrogen. I had a jeopardy. I went into jeopardy because Steve Chu said it would not happen.
Yeah.
Well, I had to decide at that moment because our government gave projects until 2008. But
Mhm.
from 2008, after, there was no projects.
Oh, really?
The last project started in 2008 and it would end in 2012. Yeah,
Right.
government project. Then there will be no support from government. So I thought, all the developments we made, all the engineers, all the supply chain will collapse. So I had to
Mhm.
decide, what can I do? Stop developing and kicked off from Hyundai, or I announce I will do the mass production in 4 years. Yeah. So at that time, I announced, anyway, I could be dead. Anyway, it is jeopardy. So I decide, okay, let me stay in Hyundai for 4 more years and let's see what happens. So I stated in 2009 that we should mass produce the fuel cell vehicle. And in 2013, we actually did it. Yeah.
Yes.
That was, the way to survive. At that time, really, technology and everything was not that mature. Yeah.
And what gave you I think this was a very courageous leadership decision, which probably was also not so easy to get support for. But what I always experience when you talk to great leaders and they are stuck in a difficult situation, they decide to move forward. This is
Yeah.
what I always get, because, and this I have learned as a leader as well, is we tend to factor in the risks, but we don't trust that opportunities will arise in the same way. And the great leaders do that. They trust that just like there will be risks and challenges, there will be opportunities. What gave you the trust to push forward in a situation where everybody canceled projects?
Yeah. So, there was no other way to further go
Yeah,
without this kind of decision at that time. And I heard that Toyota was really surprised.
yeah,
Yeah. Because they never thought Hyundai would mass produce a fuel cell vehicle at that time.
yeah,
And at that
yeah,
time, actually, Daimler wanted to be the father of fuel cell. At the time, it
yes,
was Dr. Panik, yeah,
yeah.
was who gave me a lot of inspiration. Yeah, but maybe other rich companies or rich countries can further go on. But in Hyundai at that time in 2008, Hyundai was not that famous as today.
Yeah.
yeah, and not that appreciated in technology. So it was just my choice. Yeah.
I think there is the same aha effect currently happening with BMW because I think they, unlike other European brands, continue to communicate that they will mass produce fuel cell passenger vehicles after, let's say, a yo-yo journey as well. But this is also, I think, a surprise to other European OEMs that BMW is really pushing through. This is what we at least get out of this. Okay, so this is already very interesting. Let's um, spend a little bit more time on your Hyundai journey because we have noticed, I think it was something like 4 years or 4.5 years ago, that Hyundai actively communicated about the vision of a hydrogen society. Probably you have been involved also in that decision, very significant way. What is the idea about this communication? Is this, let's say, the understanding that we will only be able to make money with this technology if the entire society changes, or what was the key driver for this communication effort?
Well, this is a very long term. Yeah. Fuel cell is right now, it's not a making money business at all. Yeah.
Mhm.
But as a company, I retired Hyundai 3 years ago, so I don't know what has been happening in past 3 years. But what I know at that time was that Hyundai was looking very far. Yeah, not only the instant making money businesses. So uh, with our chairman, we said we will see when we are 70 years old.
All
Yeah,
right.
we will see the results. So now I'm 60, so it'll be 10 years more. Yeah. But anyway, Hyundai also has to reduce CO2. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what? In 1993, when I went to Germany for doctorate degree, there is a lot of things happening in automotive industry because we knew that the regulation will come. Fuel economy regulations in USA and Europe. It started in 2015, the regulations. But even in early 1990s, we thought we had to prepare for that regulation. Yeah. So there was idea of clean diesel,
Yes.
and Toyota and Honda was developing hybrid, and there was a big competition between clean diesel and hybrid systems. Yeah, actually, after 10 years, in 2003, I came to Hyundai, but at that time in Hyundai, we were developing everything: battery electric vehicles, fuel cell cars, and also a hybrid system. We are doing all because we didn't know what was the right way. Yeah.
So it was somehow a risk mitigation strategy to
Yeah,
be in
exactly.
every part of the technology.
Well, at the time, it seemed like clean diesel was winning inside Hyundai because many leaders at that time thought hybrid systems too expensive, yeah, compared to even
Mhm.
diesel. And when Prius first launched and went to Switzerland and they operated as taxi, I heard, and he could not even climb the mountain. So many leading engineers in Hyundai said it is a toy car.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but in 2015 with the Dieselgate, hybrid system is clearly winner,
Mhm.
and that decision, like Toyota, had a clear vision that hybrid will be the winner. I think. Yeah. They told me how to reduce the cost of hybrid cars in 2011 when I met, I was related with Toyota engineers a lot. Yeah. Because we are
Mhm.
doing the fuel cell. And actually, as, Hirose-san, yeah, you have
Yes,
the interview already. She
yes,
was actually a hybrid vehicle engineer. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and Toyota, the fuel cell technology has a long legacy that hybrid engineers went to the fuel cell development. Yeah. So I think, Toyota also has a clear vision about fuel cell. and Hyundai also. And
Uh-huh.
I think they will make their decision is correct, probably because they already have this kind of experience in 2015 between clean diesel and hybrid. Yeah,
Yeah.
and hybrid clearly won. And the companies who is doing very well today is Toyota, Hyundai, Honda, yeah, all who has the hybrid systems. Well, today, all companies are making battery electric vehicles, but there's only three companies who is still developing and mass-produced fuel cell cars. That is,
Yes.
again, Toyota, Hyundai, Honda. Yeah,
Exactly.
just the
Yes.
companies who had success with the hybrid cars.
Yeah.
Well, today, fuel cell seems very expensive. Yeah. But actually, if you calculate only the raw material costs, battery system and fuel cell system is almost same.
Hmm.
Only fuel cell is not, mass produced a lot, and the processing technology is that not mature. So that makes the very high cost. But in the future, who knows? Yeah, it will be again that kind of situation of 2015 again, and maybe in after 5 years later. Yeah, that's
So when I listen to you, you basically say we came far with this new technology, but not yet far enough. But we will continue to improve, and while improving, there will be a chance to compete with battery electric vehicles over time. Because I think that what I learned from Hirose-san is that these components you can scale with mass production. If you talk about the raw materials needed in a battery, that is hard to scale. And that's, I think, basically the big opportunity with fuel cell cars. Is that correct?
yeah, that is the common view of Toyota and Hyundai, but not
Okay.
many company knows it. Yeah.
No, but it's good, and I think the fuel cell industry needs leaders who see the future and then act upon it. Yeah, because I think many people would love to see the mature this industry, but lack the confidence to act upon it, and therefore we are very grateful for these Asian brands to continue to improve that. Speaking about the level of improvements, I think both Hyundai and Toyota have launched, compared to their initial technology, I think 2 or 3 technology iterations. And I followed that over the years, and I found it quite impressive to see the announcement that there are so significant cost reductions, significant efficiency improvements, and the systems are getting much smaller. Can you share some insights how big these improvements are? And do you think that we can rapidly advance in the same way, or will it be more incremental improvements in the future?
Okay. Good question. Let me explain you a little bit about that. Yeah. So I have skepticism that the human went to moon because if you see the PEM fuel cells patent in 1955, the power that was pulled out from a fuel cell was only about 20 to 30 watt. It could only light a bulb. I don't know how fuel cell could produce electricity for controlling the spaceship. So I'm skeptical about that. So, well, let me tell you this way. When I first made the Tucson iX35, the first mass-produced car, we could pull out the performance of the stack was at zero point 0.6 volts. I could pull out 1 ampere. That
Mhm.
was the technology in 2010 or 2012, something like that. The second generation, Nexo, could pull out in zero point 0.6 volt more than 2 ampere. That
So
means
that's double the power,
yeah,
right?
and almost same as Mirai 2 also, Mirai 1, Mirai 2. Now what Toyota announced this February in Fuel Cell Expo, they said they doubled it again.
Okay.
Yeah, that means now maybe they could pull out at 0.6 volt about maybe almost 4 ampere. Yeah. So let me tell you like this: the power density of the fuel cell stack is going doubled every 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So I always thought there was a limit. Oh, this is limit. Oh, we cannot make it better. But in 5 or 6 years later, performance is doubled.
Right.
That means efficiency goes higher. And what I was very interesting about the announcement of Toyota in February was that their durability is comparable to diesel now.
Yeah.
So I always have a little bit worry about the durability of fuel cell stacks, and I try to improve it a lot. But it is going better every time, of course.
And what is your main assumption? I think the passenger cars are something used 6,000 hours. Is that the same assumption on diesel, or what do you mean with durability? How many hours would a normal car need to survive to compete with diesel?
Well, normally diesel is used in the trucks and buses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not much in the passenger car. So passenger car, I think you need durability over 7,000 hours. Yeah, it will be sufficient. But
Okay.
for trucks and buses, you need more durability.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think if Toyota says they have the durability comparable to diesel, that means we have no concern about the durability.
Yes.
And with their power density, it means that it is maybe smaller than engines now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also they said they have improved the efficiency 20%. That means this
Yeah.
is way over 60%, And
Yeah.
it is what they announced. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
need to notes. I'm saying what they announced. That means technically now fuel cell is has overcome the technology of engine. Yeah. Only the cost problem might be expensive, but it could overcome also when there is really a lot of production mass. Yeah. Yeah. So I think Toyota has already prepared with the fuel cell technology to really, spread over the world. And not I have no information about Hyundai at the moment, but I think they are also near that. Yeah. And
Right.
even the general fuel cell companies, yeah, if Toyota reaches that kind of level, that all company will reach near that in 3 5 years. That
Right.
means the industry average will all go up when there's
Right.
some leader. Yeah. So I think fuel cell is now technically prepared, and it is
Right.
even more progressing, as time goes. Yeah, if you see the NEDO roadmap, and when you see the performance they are targeting in 2035 and 2040, it is much more higher than today.
Yeah, and what you're saying for me now makes sense also to see BMW commit to a serious production, because BMW has, as far as I know from public sources, a very close technology partnership with Toyota. And it might be that these efficiency and improvements that you are now explaining and Toyota has announced has given the BMW board enough comfort to make this important step to go for a serious production, because the technology now is perceived to be ready for mass production. Yeah, so there is a real link between what the Asian OEMs are doing and now bolder decisions taking place in Europe. So this could be the reason for that.
Yeah. So we launched Nexo in 2018, and
Yeah,
Mirai 2 was in 2020, I think. And
yeah.
did you ever heard about the durability problem or performance problem of these vehicles?
No.
So actually, it's very quiet. Yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, exactly.
So, but we needed to wait because when uh, Nexo was now sold about 45,000 units in Korea.
Right.
Yeah, and although normal people are driving this every day, and there was a lot of improvements in between, but uh, people say no problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
but as an automotive company, we have to guarantee 10 years of durability and everything. So we could not, at the first place, have a big mass production because we don't know what will happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're still waiting. First Nexo was launched in 2018 and now is 2025. So 7 years has passed. And at the
Uh-huh.
time, I guaranteed 10 years. So I 3 years is left. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so waiting.
and you are selling the cars, or are you leasing them to stay
We're
controlled?
selling those cars to the normal people.
Okay. Okay, great. So, speaking about the hydrogen mobility in Korea, let's go back to the hydrogen economy in a broader sense. You recently gave a webinar for a European organization, and I think I asked you by the time how much public hydrogen refueling stations are currently available, and is the hydrogen the people are getting at the pump really green, or are you trying to migrate towards a greener hydrogen? Can you share what is going on in South Korea, because not everybody has the luxury to fly there?
Yeah. So actually, South Korea has a lot of big, petrol industry.
Right.
Yeah, and chemical industry. So we have
Hmm.
a lot of byproduct hydrogen. Yeah,
Hmm.
we don't have we don't have any green hydrogen at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Okay.
So we are using now dirty hydrogen actually.
Right.
But why should we wait until green hydrogen comes? We have to be
Hmm.
technically prepared. So we are exercising with dirty hydrogen, but I cannot do everything. I cannot develop fuel cell, and I cannot worry about the green hydrogen coming. So, well, we are doing my best. The Hyundai is preparing for the time when green hydrogen comes. But for the exercise, we are doing it with dirty hydrogen. Yeah, gray hydrogen.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. So
Okay.
we have about 240 stations at the moment. Some are for passenger cars, and some are specially built for buses. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That's twice of the number of stations in Germany. This is quite impressive,
yeah,
because in
yeah.
Germany we only have 100 roughly.
Mhm. But when I started my first mass production in Korea, there was only 6 hydrogen stations. So
Yes.
when I sell the cars, I count the hydrogen station numbers. At that time, Belgium there was one, Copenhagen there was one. So yeah, but now in Korea, actually, if it is not perfectly comfortable to use fuel cell car, but locally, some cities they have a lot of hydrogen stations, so they have no problem. Yeah, I also drive a fuel cell. I mean, one Nexo, and in 20 kilometer in my area, there's 3 hydrogen stations, so
Yeah.
no problem. Of
Yeah.
course, it's not so comfortable as using gasoline cars, but you can use it. That's why in Korea we have now 45,000 passenger Nexos running, and we have about 1,500 buses running in Korea, fuel cell buses. And what is difficult is Seoul is quite difficult because Seoul is so, crowded. We cannot find a good place for hydrogen stations. So
Okay.
you cannot see a lot of fuel cell car in Seoul, but you can see a lot in the other region. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You need the land for building and
Yeah,
all the
yeah. And
permissions,
there's
and that.
security regulations.
Yeah.
You have to have a
Yeah.
station for 400 meter from some elementary school and everything that you cannot find it.
And do you see we talked about the vision of Hyundai, and do you see that now where the industry is maturing, that the South Korean government is stepping in. We know that China is announcing bold plans to advance and mature the fuel cell and hydrogen technology. I think Europe is a little bit does not know what to do. What is the view of the government in South Korea currently?
The problem of South Korea was that we did not focus on the renewable electricity. No, what I think is we have to have plenty of renewable electricity first.
Yes.
Then there will be a lot of electricity which cannot be produced or curtailed.
Right.
Then the hydrogen starts to be produced, and then the fuel cell cars will come. But
Okay.
actually, we could not wait that long. So Hyundai started developing fuel cell and even mass produced. But the right way, the right way of the order should be first renewables, and then restovers of electricity, and then fuel cell. So now our government, they were supporting hydrogen long time, but this government, Lee Jae-myung government, is really pushing for renewables. Yeah. So I think we are going in the right way. We don't want direct support a lot for hydrogen, separately, but supporting the renewables will come like an overflow of water. It will influence the hydrogen and fuel cell technology. So we should wait a little bit more in Korea. So that reason, Korea is not so good at electrolyzer. Even Korea has a good technology in fuel cell. Korea is a lot behind in the technology of electrolyzer. Why? It is almost the same concept technology, yeah. But we did not have renewables, so we didn't have any reason to produce hydrogen with electrolyzers. So we do not have a company who produces electrolyzers, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
And is that also why you refer to this unbalanced hydrogen ecosystem, right? That you say in other countries we have a lot of renewables but are lacking the hydrogen economy. In South Korea, you are pretty advanced in the fuel cell sector, but you are lacking the renewable energy production and also the electrolyzer capacity, right?
Yeah. So I really welcome BMW's decision, because what I think is Europe is very good at hydrogen production and all kind of hydrogen technology. They only lack the consumption. Yeah, who will use it? No one was there. So I thought it should be Daimler, because Daimler, started with us, Toyota and Hyundai all together. But it was delayed from Daimler. Now BMW is trying. So when BMW mass produces, I think your H2 mobility will, be more successful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the only reason the Korean renewable, Korean hydrogen stations is running is because we have cars.
Yeah. Exactly. If you don't have demand, it's hard to maintain the stations, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, but that is not balanced in every country. So, I think most balanced country is China.
Yeah.
Their government is controlling it. But in other countries, it really depends on the nature of that country. When the industry is good, like Japan and Korea, we only build fuel cell cars, but we are not good at the production. And in countries like India or South America, everywhere, there's doing a lot of projects about hydrogen production, but who will consume it? So how can we bind it together? So maybe maritime industry could do that.
Yeah, we will. There is a link to that. Let's talk about that in 1 second. But I wanted to elaborate a little bit on the different hydrogen application or fuel cell application use cases. And I think many have transitioned to the heavy duty mobility. And I think also Hyundai is offering some applications here with trucks in Europe. How do you see the fuel cell truck in comparison to the ambition of many truck OEMs to mass produce battery electric trucks only?
Well, I think you should see China.
Mhm.
China, all the passenger cars, they focus on battery, but all
Mhm.
their trucks is mostly made in fuel cell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that could be you could also make trucks with battery vehicles, but battery system. But I think, in a little bit longer future, cost-wise, fuel cell will be cheaper.
Right.
Even today, as far as I know, if you make a battery car, battery bus or truck, and fuel cell bus or truck, the material cost will be almost same.
Right.
Yeah. But
Yeah, and as trucks are more, let's say, an investment case and not so much driven by emotions, the costs, both the capex and the operating costs play a major role. And we did an interview also with the CTO of MAN and talked about this topic, battery electric trucks versus fuel cell trucks, and he was of the vision of the idea that within Europe the industry is operating more or less in a 4 or 4.5 hour shift until the driver by regulation needs to rest. And for that reason, batteries are sufficient. Whereas in China, you have sometimes 3 drivers driving a truck and driving, let's say, a truck for 10 hours straight without
yeah.
resting. What is the situation in Korea, and do you see this also as a major argument for the technology advancement in the heavy duty sector?
Well, so trucks, I don't know, but buses, they operate whole
Mhm.
day.
Right.
Yeah. The bus operator will change the drivers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be operated. Yeah. So, and not the city buses, but also the long range buses. Yeah. So I think fuel cell bus is more attractive in that sense. Yeah.
Yes, I also
But
believe.
but we should not rely only on the trucks and buses for fuel cell system. I think we have to also no produce passenger cars, because if you see the amount of vehicles produced in a year, passenger cars emission and truck and buses, you cannot compare it. So even if you have all the truck market or bus market, the number is too low. And if it is, successful in the passenger car, it will automatically go to the buses and trucks. That's why Toyota and Hyundai mass produce with Mirai and Nexo these passenger cars. Yeah.
Right.
So I think it is successful, but
So
there's some people say only trucks and buses is okay.
yeah,
So
that's
that is
interesting.
depending on the car. Yeah.
That's interesting because what I see is that many automotive companies are, say, having the view currently, if fuel cell is successful, it will be in the heavy duty sector, right? Because the passenger cars on battery electric are outperforming the innovations in the fuel cell sector because much more people are investing in that. But it's quite astonishing that you, together with Toyota, still move forward in that road and play the long game, if I understand it correctly,
Yeah.
right? That's very good, yeah. So you just mentioned also the maritime sector, and I think that there is a lot going on. And if we can switch to your new role in Vincent, please explain first of all what you will be doing in Vincent. I think it's quite exciting that a corporate guy is now
Yeah.
working for such a small, more agile company. And what is the vision that this company is pursuing?
Well, I want. Well, I will. Vincent is a small. Actually, was a very small ship making company, and they
Yes,
started to make electric boats, small one.
right.
But the CEO of Vincent made it and found out that he could only operate 2 hours.
Right.
So he decided to use fuel cell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wanted to purchase fuel cell and apply into the ships, but he could not buy the fuel cell system. And
Mhm.
even if he could buy the fuel cell system, it doesn't match with the safety regulation of the IMO or the ships. Yeah.
Yes.
And it was very difficult to do that. So
Yeah.
he decided to make the fuel cell systems by himself, yeah,
Mhm.
which is meeting all the maritime regulations. Yeah. So I was invited and I was happy to accept that offer.
Mhm.
And what I want to do was be more aggressive, try new materials, yeah, and make it cheaper. But in big companies, you cannot do it easily because big companies has names. They cannot have a failure. And
Yeah.
it is like Toyota and Hyundai is B2C. So general public will not accept the failures. Yeah, it should be
Yes.
directly
You
reused
must
or something.
be much more cautious. Yeah.
Yeah, but ship it is mostly B2B. Yeah.
Yes.
And we can change or without making it loud, we can be a little bit aggressive in the development. Yeah. So now what I'm trying to do in Vinssen is try to make all the cost reduction, especially in the bipolar plates.
Yeah.
Many people think why fuel cell is expensive is because of platinum or membrane, but it's not the case
Mhm.
because platinum, when I started my development in 2003 in Hyundai, we used about 200 grams of platinum per stack.
Yeah.
Today, Toyota and Hyundai will only use about 30 grams or something like that. And our
Much
target
less.
is to use only 10 grams. Yeah.
Right.
If you think about 10 grams, it is the amount of precious metal which is used in the diesel, gas. Uh, what do you call it? Exhaust gas treatment gas system. Yeah.
Yes.
So the precious metal is not the key point of the cost. And the membrane, we use a very thick membrane in the past, but now we use only 8 micrometer or even less. So the amount of material in the membrane is very small amount. That is also okay. But where is the problem? Bipolar plates.
Mhm.
Because you have stamped the metal sheet. But with one mold, how many sheets can you make? Maybe 700,000. Yeah. But in one stack, you have 1,000 sheets. That means you
Yeah.
can only make 700 stacks with one
Yeah.
mold. Yeah.
Yeah.
And mold is very expensive. This cost is all added to the stack.
Right.
So how to make the biplane, and not only the molding, but you have to put the precious, high cost coatings on there. Yeah, that cost because you have to prevent the corrosion and make a good conductivity, electric conductivity. You have to do the coating, and that is also expensive. So how could you know, minimize or even reduce, not use that kind of technology is very important, I think. So when I do the cost reduction in Hyundai, always the barrier was the bipolar plate. Yeah, it was very difficult to reduce the cost of that item, and now I want to do it in Vinzen. Yeah.
Right. So you want to be disruptive with your development approach and to go for something great, which might be more risky, but
Yeah.
where you have really the chance to outperform the industry.
Mhm.
And so in your last 10 years, you have a big mountain to climb for that work, right?
Yeah. So actually, it is like that. When I first entered Hyundai, we were very aggressive.
Yeah.
But as the company becomes big, the fuel cell sector goes bigger, and if you mass produce, you have to be careful, careful, careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes the engineer more cautious. But
Mhm.
now I want to be aggressive again.
Great. No, we are looking forward to learn about that development much more, and probably in 2 years' time we can have a revival of this talk where you can talk about your journey there. I think the maritime sector is an important sector in many ways because it is polluting the air a lot. So there is a big potential to reduce the carbon footprint of the industry, but it's also, I think, a significant industry with long investment horizons. So how do you see the market potential? I trust that you see a good, but can you share more insight why you think this is a great idea to offer a fuel cell or a hydrogen-based powertrain for the maritime sector?
So in very small boats, you can use fuel battery, but normally in the ocean-going ships, battery is no competitor in the maritime. So you can erase battery first.
Right.
So there's so we have to still fuel cell technology should compete with engine technology because even if you don't use diesel, now the engine engineers is developing ammonia engine or hydrogen engine. So fuel cells should compete with them, and it will be the competition between how far you could save the fuel, because in the ships, the amount of fuel you use is enormous.
Right.
So even small differences in the efficiency is a large number of money. So
Right.
no, I think fuel cell has a good chance. Still, we have to compete with engines, but it is a new world here.
Right.
And according to IMO regulation, I think until 2032, something like that, it is only 30% reduction. So some people say it is too weak, but it is not weak, yeah, because up to 20% or 30%, you can use CNG engine. I mean, natural gas engines can
Right.
meet that target, yeah, and
Right.
driving slow, make efficiency better could meet that target. But after that, after 2032 or something like 2035, you have to have another measure, yeah, not a conventional engine, yeah. So the real competition will come at 2032 or 2035, I think. But before
And
that, if the fuel cell, I think, will not replace the main power of the sailing, yeah, but it will replace the auxiliary electricity of the ships, because
right.
you can keep the engine and just replace the electricity production with fuel cell. That will, improve the total, CO2 production in the ships, because in ships, 50% is the main power for driving the ships, and 50% is almost the electricity that is used in the ships. So even if you only change the auxiliary electricity, you can save to about 50% maybe. Yeah. So that I
Yeah,
think
and I think so. If I understand you, the route to market is not to replace the main engine to go from Shanghai to Rotterdam, but
that will
to
be
replace
longer.
exactly, but to replace at the beginning to serve the ship with clean electricity demands. And I think that there are regulations already in place from Norway where the people are fed up with all these coastliners lying in the port and then continuing to operate their diesel engine to maintain the electricity level. And that's your starting point, if I understand correct.
I think so for the big ships. And in
Okay.
small ships, there is projects going on tugboats.
Right.
Tugboats. Tugboat
No.
is the small boat which is pushing the big ships in the
Oh,
harbor.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, yeah. The
That will
Schlepper. In
replace.
Germany, we call them the Schlepper. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And there's ships called harbor craft.
Right,
Harbor craft is harbor taxis.
right.
Yeah, we
Yes.
call it harbor craft. And
Yeah.
delivers human,
Yeah.
goods to the ships. Yeah. So I think these two items is for near term maybe, which could be replaced easily in a small
Mhm.
size. But big size ships like 30 megawatt ships, I think the auxiliary power replacement will be the first market.
And there was, I think, 2 months ago, this important decision to not adopt new standards of the IMO, the International Maritime Organization, to decarbonize the shipping industry. And what I read about it, this was mainly driven by the US, that they said, if you now adopt these standards, you need to face sanctions or tariffs.
No
Um,
visa.
no, yeah. What isn't this also for your business a major setback, or how do you see this decision? Because it caused, I spoke to a relevant professor, and he was quite frustrated about it because it was such a big work to get to that point that it could be adopted.
Well, in more than 20 years of my experience, there was a lot of setbacks. Not
Yes.
only this, the biggest
Yes.
one was Steve Chu, Minister
Yeah.
Steve Chu. So, in long term, it will be solved. And I
Right.
waited almost 25 years.
Yeah.
Several years does not that matter. But in between, in the midterm, we have to be more ready about the technology. Yeah,
Right.
we can save some time. During that time, you have to be more perfect, yeah, more reliable. So I think that is what we should do. And
Mhm.
anyway, it will happen. Yeah, maybe
And
maybe in 3 or 4 years after Trump. Yeah, so who
And
knows?
as far, I always say, think global but start local. And I think that the ports within Korea or with individual countries, they can also make big decisions to say, just like Norway, only ships are allowed if they don't operate with diesel. So you can even set local standards which have a global impact because everybody wants to serve the South Korean industry still. And do you see these type of initiatives happening now as this international standard is more or less postponed, that you have governments stepping up and saying, okay, we don't care about this. We want the ports to go green?
Yeah, that is starting in Korea, but I don't know how fast it will go. Yeah,
Okay.
there
Okay.
was
Mhm.
attempt to make green ports in the past, but it did not happen really good because in Korea, the regime by regime is different. Yeah,
Mhm.
so we have
Mhm.
every 5 year election, and that impacted a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe this government, but it is always going in the long term. It is always going in the good way. In Korea, we have hydrogen law. Yeah, we made this hydrogen law first in the world. Yeah, I
Right.
initiated that law, and in the government there is a division who is handling this law. So
Right.
what regime comes, it doesn't matter. There is a
Okay.
law that is, keeping us safe. So yeah,
And
we have to
I
do many things.
And I was recently in the Middle East, and there were many people talking about projects that are producing green hydrogen with the idea of transforming it into green ammonia and then shipping it internationally.
Yeah.
This, I think, is also, as I see it, an important development over the last 5 years. My question is, do you buy into that? And what I find striking is that we want to serve global markets with green ammonia, but still driving diesel, right? With the ships. So, how do you see that? Will this rush for green ammonia will support also your business in the future?
Yeah, so there is a project going on with MISC, which is a Malaysian shipbuilder, yeah,
Hmm.
and with Samsung Heavy Industry and Vinssen.
Mhm.
We first had the homologation of the design of the ammonia ship, which
Yeah.
uses ammonia as power. So we have a
Oh, really?
her and fuel cell, and it will be
Right.
about 12 megawatt system. Yeah.
Okay.
So it is very early stage. We are planning. Yeah.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of debate between whether we should use ammonia or liquid hydrogen or whether we should use engine or fuel cell. There's a lot of debate. Even in the fuel, whether some companies says ammonia is too dangerous. Of course, we have ammonia carriers, but if all the ship in the world is going with ammonia as fuel, what happens if one ship breaks down?
Yes.
The sailors will not live.
Yes.
That will
Yes.
stop all the sailings. So some says ammonia is too dangerous in that kind of incident. So that those companies say we should go for liquid hydrogen. Yeah.
Mhm.
And some says we should go for ammonia. Yeah. But I think it is divided. Europe, a little bit more to liquid hydrogen. Middle East and Japan, maybe, and India, more to ammonia. Let's see. But fuel cell itself will be used anyway, whether it will be ammonia or liquid hydrogen, the same for us. So
I,
let's
I'm
see who will win.
I'm so fascinated about how relaxed you are about the years, because we in Europe have this business culture that people make a 5-year plan and hopefully after 1 year everything is viable. But you seem to have this relaxed long-term view and the trust that there will be improvement makes and problems will be solved. So you don't have much of a headache. And coming now more or less to the end, also, I have some broader things that I wanted to touch upon with you, because I think that the business culture and the way Korean companies decide within a company is very different to Europe, very different to China, very different to Japan. So when we were as Highfinder starting to interact with South Korean companies, we had language barriers, but also culture barriers. And I want to ask you, as one of the leaders in Korea, what can we all do better when working with Korean companies? What culture should we accept to collaborate more efficient? What can you tell us how to be successful in working with South Korean companies?
Well, I don't know the answer actually, but I
Okay.
can tell you about the situation of Korean companies.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So most Korean companies in the sales division or engineers, they don't speak good English.
Yeah.
Now, new MZ generation speaks all good English. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're not specialists. So the
Yeah.
traditional people who is sitting in the sales division or engineering, they don't speak English and they don't want to have English meetings. Yeah, so they're very shy.
Yeah.
And when they
Yeah.
hear the meetings ongoing with the Korean engineers and European or US engineers, they look like elementary school students. They know much better
Mhm.
actually, but they cannot pronounce that or show their knowledge. And they're
Right.
very shy. And
Right.
because of this shy, they just say yes, yes, yes. Even they don't understand
Okay.
sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to check whether they really understood or what they really want to say. So that is one big barrier. Yeah. And other is Korean supply system is, you know, made in the focus of big chaebol like
Mhm.
Samsung, Hyundai, LG. So
Yes.
also, small companies in Korea, their dream is to supply their product to Hyundai, Samsung, or LG. They
Right.
try to any other sales activity
Right.
much. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they're afraid of providing their products to other companies because maybe they could make Hyundai, Samsung, or LG mad, and
Okay.
they could be stopped. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that is a long culture because Korean industry have been developed in that way. The leader was
Right.
always LG, Samsung, Hyundai, Hana, yeah, some good jobbers, and the small companies were supporting them. But now it is starting that the small companies become strong high-tech companies and they try to contact other customers now. So it is slowly changing. But I
Right.
think it would take a little bit more time because I still see many companies here in smaller middle size companies who is quite afraid of contacting to other foreign companies.
Yeah, this is very valuable insight because so we also work with Korean companies, and we have experienced that, but we didn't know the background for that, and it makes sense now as you know this, and we have to respect different culture. It's no right or wrong. It's just understanding each other, right? And what we have done is we try to have a translator present in important meetings, which helps, right? Okay, so this is great insight. Thank you for sharing this. Um,
Yeah, this is long
I
tradition.
Yeah,
Structure of
no, but
Korean,
you
you know,
there is
yeah,
no
industry.
book you can read about it, or at least I don't know about this. And it's valuable that you share this, Sejong. Thank you. It makes sense to me now, much more. I want to ask you at the end, basically, I think for many people in South Korea and also globally, you are perceived, rightfully so, as a very successful professional. You made your career to the very top of a global company in the fuel cell sector. And what would you describe as your success secrets? Why did you became so successful, and what could be a recommendation to younger professionals who want to follow your path?
Well, I think you always have to be curious
Hmm.
and challenge.
Okay.
And I think many pioneers in this fuel cell and hydrogen area have suffered because the time has not come and the
Mhm.
renewables are not there. But now the young students today, when 10 years is passed, I think their time will come. Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's maybe we were too early. Maybe the students in the university today will have a really successful career. So
Yes.
they should not choose the industry which is very good going today. They
Yeah.
see 10 years or 20 years later. So I think
Right.
it is right time. We have suffered, but they could have success.
So what you're saying is it's the right time for young professionals now to enter the hydrogen
Yeah,
and fuel cell
I think
space,
so.
because over the next 20 years, this industry will be
Mhm.
maturing. And as the industry will become more successful, people now entering the space will get wind from the back and not like you wind in the face.
Yeah. So actually, Um, I have a really good relation when I was at Hyundai, and before uh, today the chairman of Toyota is Toyoda-san, but the previous was Uchi Yamada-san, yeah,
Yeah.
the Toyota chairman who launched the H2 council, yeah,
Yes.
and he's like father for me, yeah, he's a
Uh-huh.
very old guy and he really initiated the hybrid system in Toyota. Uh, and before he retired, I went to Nagoya, the headquarters of Toyota, and met him for the last time. And he helped me and told me, and he said, never give up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm also 60 now. I'm kind to retire, but I will never give up, as he told me. And I'm
Yeah.
challenging again in Vincent in the Maritime fuel cell.
Yeah.
So, our life is getting longer. So we should not rest and challenge more and be more curious. Yeah. I think that is the solution how we could enjoy our life and don't worry a lot because, yeah. So I worried a lot, but it doesn't help anything. Time will
Yeah.
solve. And do what you have to do. That is
Yeah.
all what you have to do.
So, Sae Hoon, this was a very insightful, and I am having goosebump listening to you, because I also think that if you do something with passion over a longer period of time, people will recognize and they come out of the bushes and help you. And by doing so, you're leading others. And those people who are pursuing something in life with passion will end up being successful as well, just like you are. So thank you for taking the time, dear Seon, and sharing all these relevant insights. I'm so excited about this, and yeah, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. And I hope
Great.
to see you soon again. Yeah.
Yes, I hope to meet you actually. As you know, our head of sales is currently in Korea while we are speaking, and I hope you have the chance to meet him tomorrow after your speech, and that we can stay in contact. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Sehon.